JT Show.
What's going on, you sexy beasts, and welcome to another episode of the Smash JT Show, my weekly episodic adventure discussing divisive issues in the video game industry and beyond sometimes. It airs every Friday, and without further ado, let's just jump right into it. And this week, I need to talk about YouTube, the state we're all in with watching it, creating videos, and if creators are getting a little bit lazy. But take that word with a grain of salt, because creators are consistently under a tremendous amount of pressure to get videos out, to make sure that they're interacting enough with their audience, to make sure their channel isn't dying, to make sure so many different things that they're getting videos out at least on a weekly basis, if not a bi-weekly basis or somewhere along those lines. The problem comes in with YouTube. When I first started making videos, I wanted to make them perfect. I wanted to make them as full as possible, all-encompassing, as professional as possible, and in a way it really held me back on creating a lot more content because I was so nitpicky on making specific videos just right. But then I realized as a small channel, YouTube wasn't necessarily promoting my videos. They weren't telling people about the hard work that I put into these videos. They didn't care about me because I was a small channel. As my channel went on and I started making more and more videos, I learned that the secret to actually getting more subscribers, getting more views, ultimately getting more interaction on your channel and building a community really centered around just making more topical conversations, talking about trending topics, talking about video game industry news that's hot off the press, things that people want to hear about, and why people would want to hear your opinion over, say, somebody who's a larger, more influential channel. And as I've been growing and as I've been creating more content, I've been taking a step back and not putting as much pressure on myself to make videos as perfect as possible. The problem comes in with that is my videos have far less quality than I would like to have in them because I need to get more videos out. I like doing the videos. I enjoy doing it. If I didn't like doing these videos, I wouldn't be making them all. But YouTube has kind of forced me into a corner to make more videos than I would initially have wanted to, and to sometimes focus on areas that I'm interested in but wouldn't necessarily have covered if it wasn't following a trending topic. I do like talking about video games. Luckily for me, nothing really falls too far out of my realm of curiosity and enjoyment, so I do enjoy making all these videos, but it's not necessarily exactly where I would want to be making the videos, if that makes any sense. Videos like the Rapist Beware video, where that was a lot of work that went into making that. More of a JonTron video talking about a fairly touchy subject and trying my best to make light of it, looking at the situation from a comedy perspective. And a lot of work went into making that video, and it really is one of the worst performing videos that I've made overall. And unfortunately, because of that, it's made me not want to make those kind of videos going forward. The audience and people like you who are watching my videos kind of dictate the direction of this channel. Now, obviously, I have a big say in it. I can create whatever I want to, and that I enjoy the most is being able to wake up in the morning and see what I'm going to cover. But I also have to take into consideration what my audience wants me to be making. Whereas when I went into making YouTube videos initially and creating this channel, I wanted to do what I wanted to cover and what I wanted to talk about. But nobody cared. Nobody cared for the life of me. Nobody cared to watch any of those videos for whatever reason, whether YouTube wasn't promoting them, whether conversations that I was covering were not interesting enough for people. That was something YouTube was not sharing around because being a small channel, they kind of hide you and mask you. They don't want to show your channel because there are just hundreds of thousands of small channels out there. YouTube doesn't really have a format and a way to showcase what you're working on, or a way to distinguish you putting a ton of work into your videos compared to somebody else who's just throwing up any crap that they make and hoping that people watch it, like Minecraft or Roblox or something like that, just gameplay videos of that. And there's a lot of people that want to watch that. Unfortunately, because that brings me back to my main point of what YouTube is becoming, where it's focusing on the lowest common denominator. It's making people want to watch things just to pass time instead of really making them think deeply about an issue or letting them learn something very, very intriguing about a situation that they didn't know about previously. And the only real way to do that is to make a tremendously great video and be a large channel. Take my friend Tark's Gauntlet, for example, the smashing video of the week that I covered last week, where he did a deep dive on the history of Square Enix beginnings and how it came to be. It didn't get nearly as many views as it deserved. So much work, I can tell, blood, sweat, and tears went into making that video for him. And as far as the view count, it's far below what I expected it to be at. Now compare that to Norm Caruso gaming historian video, where his do in the millions of numbers because he's a larger channel, he's established, people expect high quality out of him. People don't know smaller channels actually put a lot of work into their videos. They don't want to take the time to learn individual channels because there are so many bad channels out there, it's not worth it to them to spend the time to find out who's actually good and who's not. Which, in a weird way, is kind of why I made smashjt.com, as a way to not only showcase my own channel and let people know about me, but to also give recognition to smaller channels that may not get the recognition they deserve on a wider scope from YouTube. They have another avenue from my channel and hopefully other people as well talking about their videos, because as a small channel, that's really the only chance people have, is to have other people who are more influential talk about their videos, so that some may call them sheep, but the casual viewer would actually give them a chance. And from the casual viewer's perspective, I can completely understand where they're coming from, because like I said earlier, there are way too many channels out there to try to figure out which ones are worth watching and which ones aren't. So they look to the leaders to tell them who the channels are worth watching are. It's an unfortunate side effect of what YouTube has morphed into over time, but it is what it is, and as it stands right now, going back to my main point of this initial video, YouTube is kind of becoming lazy because smaller channels have to get their foot in the door, and they're sticking their foots in every single door they can try to get into to get noticed. And YouTube will not share their videos when they're a small channel. So they're going to cover trending topics, they're going to cover interesting situations that people would be interested to click on, but they're not necessarily going to get the views and subs until people start actually covering them and talking about them from a large channel perspective, and an influencer, if you will, saying this channel is worth watching, this channel is good, this one is what you should be paying attention to. And unfortunately, in order to get the bigger channels to notice you, you either have to get really lucky and be really good, or just kind of spread out as many videos as you can, unfortunately, to get as many eyes on your channel as possible. And that is the reality of what YouTube is. At least that's how I feel about it. And this being an unbiased show, I try to talk about both sides of the issue, but for this specific situation, it's really hard to see a different angle. This is more just how it feels to be a YouTuber. I'm not necessarily venting, I don't want it to come off like that, but more of a informal, here's what's going on behind the scenes with YouTube as a growing small channel and trying to get noticed and doing whatever you can to get noticed without doing anything ridiculous, trying to be on the up and up and do the right thing. A lot of the times, good channels unfortunately fly under the radar. Anyways, let me know in the comments below, do you feel like YouTube is getting lazy? Do you feel like a lot of creators are making videos to the lowest common denominator just to cover as many topics as possible? I'm not saying that's necessarily wrong to do. I'm just wondering if that's the direction YouTube is headed overall. When I first got into this, I thought more like it's gonna be Angry Video Game Nerd or JonTron making skits and really intense videos with comedy injected into it and deep thought-provoking stuff. But those channels are well-known channels, and while there are a ton of other channels out there, like Raw Man, making great content, putting a ton of work into it, not getting the recognition he deserves, or Lucius Showcase, or so many other channels out there like Tark's Gauntlet that I spoke about earlier. There's just so many channels out there putting a ton of work into things that aren't getting the recognition they deserve. I wonder if YouTube is forcing people to just shove as much crap out there as possible and hope, for the love of all that is holy, something that you make gets picked up by a larger channel and people find out about you from that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this entire situation. It's kind of all over the place, but at the same time, it's kind of a state of YouTube in 2018. Thank you so much to all these Patreons that are the biggest supporters of the show. If anyone out there is interested in joining them for as little as $1 a month, feel free to hit that Patreon button that just showed up right there. If you haven't already, you enjoy the content I'm making, hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. And if you missed last week's episode, I'll put a link to it right there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you stay sexy. Smash J.